Hello, I'm Peter Hart, Starboard team rider, and I'm here today to talk to you about the new 2024 Kode. And boy, is it new. You know, normally when you get presented with next year's model, there might be a little colour change or a tiny tweak to the design. But no, this is completely new. And it's not like the old one was bad or anything, but this is just different. When it first arrived, I thought, hang on, this is a waveboard. That's the Ultra, our waveboard. And that's the Kode. They look so similar. And sure enough, I took it away straight away on a wave clinic. And when I got on my first wave, I went, yeah, this is a waveboard. And very often using a Freewave on a wave, you do have to adapt your technique and turn in different places on the wave just to compensate for the straighter rocker line. But you didn't on this one. It was incredible. So I thought, well, if it's that good in the waves, it must have lost some of its free waviness, you know, its speed and its adaptability. The next day we were on flat water and it hadn't. So what on earth is going on? Well, first of all, just look at the outline. That is a classic surfboard shape with a beautifully smooth curve all the way through. So when you rock it over onto that rail, it just follows that curve all the way through a full rail turn. Looking at the tail, well, when I was a lad, tails came in and out of fashion like boy bands. We had squash tails, we had stingers, but the one that stood the test of time and is still popular in surfboard design and waveboard design is the swallowtail. And those edges combined with the width and a little bit of tail rocker and that tri-fin setup means that this is the tail that really grips and allows you to tighten up turns and slash off the lip. But the one design feature which is so important and almost invisible is the rocker line, and on the Kode it's a very subtle curve all the way through this section. And what that means is as you load up the front foot to get going, it's like hitting the accelerator pedal. It glides and accelerates. And using a Freewave in the waves, you're generally doing that because the waves themselves are a bit slow and slopey and you need that speed and acceleration to create a dynamic performance. So it has to be quick off the mark and quick when it's going. Generally, flat rocker lines means that if you do try and jive off the front foot or turn off the front foot, that part of the rail catches. But somehow not on this Kode. And even on a wave face, which is curved, as you drive off the front foot, it holds the edge just like a normal waveboard. Only other differences, well, both the width through the middle and the nose. It's a bit wider for extra stability at rest and also just to make it easier to sail. And that's the one thing we want from a Freewave board over a waveboard. It's just easier to get going, slightly less technical. What shapes your sailing style and how the board behaves more than anything is this. Now the 95 comes with a choice of either the tri-fin setup or a single back fin. And you notice this one is set right back. And the reason for that is it places the power right under your back foot. So now you're going from front foot sailing to back foot sailing because that's where the power is. And with it so far back, you get instant lift from it, which lifts the nose and allows the board to plane on a really small surface, which equals speed. And now to counteract that lift from the fin, you'll add the double strap. So you're placing them outboard, both back and the front set. And then also to balance that lift, you'll put the mast foot further forward in the track and then you're planted on the water and the board's much more directional. So while we're at it, why don't I just explain again the three different sailing modes, starting with wave, where everything is about maneuverability, mast foot back, foot straps back, lets the nose lift and the rail shortens, which means the board is so nimble edge to edge, like a hungry Labrador, just scenting this way and that, always wanting to turn. Next, Freewave, which is a bit of speed and maneuverability. So you put the mast foot a little bit further forward to lower the nose and make it slightly more directional. Foot straps can come forward, but actually that also depends on your leg length. So taller people will generally have a wider stance. And then finally, free ride speed mode, where you've got that center fin balanced by the mast foot being further forward so the board's properly planted to the water, and then outboard strap position so you can take that power and drive it into the fin and the rails. So if that Kode is so darn good in the waves, what is the point, you may ask, of getting a dedicated waveboard? Well, there's always room for the specialist tool. This is the Ultra 93 and it's in carbon reflex, which is both stiffer and lighter and can also withstand the massive forces of someone coming down from 30 feet while rotating. Now it looks very similar, but the outline is subtly different. It's actually a bit shorter and a bit narrower. Shorter is good because there's less swing weight, so that makes it more maneuverable both in the air and when turning on the water. And narrower is good because then it's easier to get from edge to edge. You can do more spontaneous turns. The rails are still thin, but the volume is built through the middle here. You can see that deck plate is also recessed. The main difference is the rocker line. More tail rocker and more rocker all the way through it, which makes it super loose, but obviously there's a penalty and you've got to work a little bit harder to get it going. But what an amazing specialist machine. The 2024 Kode looks and behaves very much like a wadeboard, but just happens to be very easy to sail and super quick on flat water or in the rough. Well, thanks very much for watching. If you've got any questions, please leave them below. And remember, these are now available in the UK. See you on the water.